So I'm out here doing some ham radio projects, and I realized it was time to do a review on this new little HT that I picked up. This is a feature-packed radio. This is the Jianpai 8800 quad band radio with Airband receive. Let's check it out. Alright everybody, welcome back. So I realized I hadn't reviewed this radio yet, and I've been using it for a couple weeks now. And I'm actually kind of impressed with it. There are a few downsides that I want to mention. We'll mention those right up front. But all in all, it's a pretty cool radio with a whole lot of features. And as a starter radio, I really say you can't go wrong with it. As long as you realize that there are a few downsides to it as well. It's not perfect, but it's a pretty darn good radio. And as far as the function and the audio quality of it, it's amazing. What actually attracted me to this radio is the display and the Bluetooth capability on it. There's your display right there, as a matter of fact. Very, very nice looking display. Very big, easy to read. Kind of reminded me of the, what is it, the FT5D or something? The Yaesu FT5D. It kind of has that look to it. Really nice display on it. It has an app, which I will put a link down below where you can download. It's a very confusing, that's one of the things that's confusing about it. The site that it's on has nothing to do with Jianpai. It's a totally different radio. I will give you that link down below where you can download the Bluetooth app for it. It is Bluetooth capable. It does have a GPS. The GPS can't be used with the radio, unfortunately, so you can't use APRS with this or anything. You're going to have to do a separate GPS for that. But it is very handy, say in a search and rescue or Aries kind of thing where you want to give out your coordinates to someone. You come across somebody that's injured, you're giving out your coordinates for, say, an air ambulance to land or something like that. Very, very handy to have. Another neat thing about this is it's got a USB-C interface. Now you'll notice the charger here, right? It does come with a USB-C cord. The battery can be charged separately from that little USB-C port on the back. I thought that was a really handy thing to have. Really like that feature. It charges up very, very quickly. Has a decent sized battery in it as well. Here's the first downside. You'll notice this has a much longer antenna on it. This did not come with this ABRI antenna. It comes with a very short, stubby antenna, and when I took it off, on the bottom, near the connector, you could clearly see that it was rated for frequencies of 450 to 470. Not exactly where I want it to be in my ham bands, and no 2 meters and no 220, and this radio does do 220. So, that's my downside for it. I actually gave that antenna away to somebody who wanted to use it for a project, and I put the ABRI antenna on it. Yeah, it's going to cost you an extra 16, 15, 14 bucks, whatever. The radio, I think the radio is worth it, honestly. I think the radio is really that good of a quality that I think it's worth it. So the working GPS receiver will only work outside. Again, depending on where you are and depending how thin your roof is, I haven't been able to activate it inside. Outside works very, very well. Works nice, gives you a nice little display of your coordinates and what satellites you're hitting around. We'll look at that in a second. You can get to that by pushing that right arrow on the front there, and we'll display that in a second. But it's actually quite useful in case of emergency. Again, it won't work with the radio in conjunction in any way, but for an emergency situation, being able to know your GPS coordinates is really, really handy. So let me set that up, and I'll show you how it looks. All right, on the top here, you'll see the GPS icon. Now, when you're using this in Bluetooth, this is just a side note, the GPS icon will turn off and the GPS will turn off. It's one or the other. You're going to push your arrow this way, this arrow here. Push it over. Now you see I don't have a position yet, of course. And these are some of my previous positions that, inside here. So anyway, let's pull that over here. Never got a position for that particular position there. I want to pull it out here and show you. I have to change the language on it too because it's still in Chinese. There we go. All right. So you can see right there, this will be your what satellites you're pulling down, and this will be your positioning and information here. Now it isn't going to get it inside here, obviously, with a metal roof. But you take it outside, let it go for about, I would say lockup took under 2 minutes to get this, to get a good GPS position on it. So let's talk about power and how they claim this is a 10, 20 watt radio, whatever. It isn't. I'm going to give you a little information on that. All right, so a lot of these radios claim they're a lot more powerful than they are. Okay, we all know I don't want 20 watts by my head, honestly, so I have no problem with it being the correct amount of watts. On 2 meters, we saw about 4.5 watts. 220, we saw about 5.5 watts, which was kind of impressive. And in the 440 range, we saw about, oh gosh, I want to say about 4.5 watts. So all in all, not bad at all. I really can't complain about the power output. But buy it knowing that you're not going to, knowing you're not going to get 20 or 10 watts out of it. Now on the right side of the radio, like many radios before, we have a little speaker mic kind of deal going on here. Okay, that will fit most of your regular plugs. If you have a handheld mic, that will fit in there. However, the programming cable for this will not, a Baofeng cable will not work for this. This needs its own programming cable if you're going to choose to do it via the internet, via your computer. And you can, there is an app to download to do this during the computer as well. Same location as the Bluetooth app, but I'll show you the Bluetooth app and what that does. So you have a push to talk button on the other side here, and you have two function buttons. All right. The top button is on the antenna port here. Okay. This top button here is your emergency alert. If I push and hold that, I hope I have my finger on it. I don't. Oh, might help if I turn the radio on. If I push and hold that, you'll get the emergency alert signal. Okay. On the top here, you push that, you're going to get radio.
Convalescing or quarantining and can't donate.
You get FM radio.
We have individual.
Okay. The bottom will let you scan. Let's do that here. That opens the squelch, and then the scanning. Okay. And to stop it, you'll just hit it again, and I'll take that back to the frequency that I had it on, and there you go. Really, really simple to use. You can program these buttons to do different things, okay? Very, very easy to use. Now, the P1 button here will change between BFOs. So if I want to use the top BFO, I'll hit that, or the bottom BFO, hit that. And the P2 button will change between BFO and memory mode, okay? So that's memory mode. I haven't put that in yet. I have to put some more frequencies in here. I've only done a few. And I've done them manually, to be honest with you, because I like to learn how to do it manually. I like to bang it in my head and do it over and over again. There's not much that I put in manually for these radios, especially ones that I review. But I put my local repeaters in them, and I find that to be more than enough. If I'm doing simplex, I can just dial it on BFO to what I want. So very, very simple to use. Now, this does have a voice prompt. Some people will find that voice prompt annoying. Let me turn it up so you can actually hear it. Go into memory here. That's your memory. Okay, let's say I want to change my squelch.
Squelch.
Okay.
Confirm.
Okay.
Squelch.
One of the reasons I like this
Confirm.
is some of these are abbreviated. Some of these memory things. Steps pretty self-explanatory, but some of this stuff you may not understand what you're doing here. So you want to have this to give you everything that you want to know, you know. And with that voice prompt there, let's see if we can do it again.
Power.
Power. See, TXP. You may not know what that is,
Confirm.
but it says power. So for the programming of it, I kept the voice prompt on until I learned what the different settings were. I wanted to make sure I knew what it was, and I wanted to make sure that I was doing the right thing. Now, one other neat feature on this, and I'm going to bring it up and show you, is the ability to scan for CTCSS codes or DCS codes on the fly. That means if you hear a repeater, okay, and you're not sure of that code, the 8800 will find it for you. So let me do that for you. Let me set that up, and you'll see how it works. At the bottom there, you'll see scan CTCS, and you can also do a scan DCS if it's using the digital coded squelch. Now let's turn this on, okay, and you'll see it's going through. Now nothing's transmitting up here, so you're not going to hear it, and your channel you want to find out has to be in your upper VFO, or upper memory channel, so you can find it. But you see how that's going through there, and the minute somebody transmits on that, you can't key the repeater and do it yourself. You have to have somebody transmit. You will get the code on that, no problem. When you're done, you simply just back out of it, and it's off. Does the same for the DCS too, so that's a really handy feature. Alright, so let's talk about programming. Yes, there is a programming cable for it. Yes, you can do it on your computer, but being that most of us have our phones with us almost all the time, you can download this walkie-talkie app. Again, I will put a link down in the description on where to pick this app up because it's not on a Jianpai.com website. It's on some other radio company's website, but this is the right thing. You're going to be turning on your Bluetooth on your radio. You're going to be turning on your Bluetooth on here. You will pair the devices, connect them really simply, and you'll be able to go through here. Let me show you that. Go through here. And again, you'll have to do each one. That's channel 1, channel 2, channel 3. It's kind of annoying, but that's how you're going to have to do it. You know, you can't just scroll through. You're going to read it first. You want to read the database back of what's in there. And then once you put your frequencies in, you're going to write, and it will write over to your radio. Very, very simple to do. Saves you a lot of time. You don't even have the radio with you. You can program all your frequencies in ahead of time. And then when you get back home, after you're waiting for somebody all day, and you're done. It's really that simple. Very, very easy to do. Now, I did put about 5 or 6 repeaters in here manually. So I just wanted to learn how to do it manually. I like to learn how to do my stuff manually, just in case there is no software around or my phone isn't working or whatever. So that's how I did it. Now let's talk about price for a second, because this is not a inexpensive radio. It's not a super expensive radio. We're not talking ICOM, Yaesu, super high-end radio. But it is a little bit more expensive than your $20 or $30 Baofangs. These run about $108. Now, at first I was like, they're $108, and I got to go and get my own antenna. What the heck is with that? Honestly, with the features on this thing, I really, really liked it. It does come with a charger, and that's pretty much it. The charger, the antenna, the battery, 5,000 milliamp hour battery. You're going to get a lot of use out of this. Definitely lasts a good long time. Okay? And I'm impressed with it so far. So what I want to do, one of the things that has been talked about with this particular radio is the audio quality. And I got to say, it's really nice. I was really kind of surprised at how good the audio sounds on a radio like this, both in transmission and receive. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to tell you I'm going 6 miles away. I'm going to walk into my computer room, and I'm going to transmit on this radio. I'm going to leave my camera running and let you hear the audio. And then we're going to do the opposite, and I'm just going to walk to the other side of the room so you can listen to it and see what you think of the audio quality. So let's get that set up.
W6UTC testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. W6UTC. I will be clear.
All right, so there's some received audio. Now what I'm going to do is transmit with this right now, and we're going to see how well that works. And we're going to be just using this little Zastone radio. That's what I used to do it before. I'm going to switch this out. I'm going to walk to the other side of the room there, and we're going to try that out.
W6UTC test 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 4. W6UTC clear.
All right, so you see, we got a pretty good sound quality both ways on this. If you're interested in a little bit more of a long-range test, which I'll probably be doing with this because I want to mess with this a lot more, you can watch, I believe it's Ringway Manchester. If you guys are into ham radio, Lewis from Ringway Manchester has amazing videos, and he always tests stuff out ridiculously well. He really does a good job. He tested it against a Yaesu, and I forget the brand, but he tested it against the Yaesu, and I was really surprised. The audio quality from this radio was far, far superior to the Yaesu, and it actually sounded better when he tested it into an echo type node that he had, a node that he was able to transmit and then hear the transmission back to himself back at his home. So he was a good distance away, and it sounded really, really, really good. So all in all, I'm impressed with the radio. Yeah, it's got a few caveats. You got to change the antenna. You have to program it via Bluetooth, and you need a special cable if you want to use it on a computer. Manually, the programming on this is not difficult. If you can just zap through the menus really quick, you can see this is very, very simple to do. Your offsets are right there. You should know your offsets already. You've got your plus and minus if you want to. Now, if you want to mess with that, you go in here again.
Frequency direction.
And we'll go to minus offset.
Confirm.
See? That simple. So all in all, it's a very simple radio to program. You're going to just put in your frequency, put in your offset, put in your plus or minus and your CTCS codes or DCS codes, whatever you're using, and boom, save it to memory and you're done. And that's what I did with this generally to learn it. So all in all, very simple radio to use. Aside from the antenna issue, I'm loving the thing, honestly. I really like it. I like the big screen on it. I like being able to read that screen from a distance away. And I'm very, very happy with it. The price, yeah, it's $108, but what you're getting is a far better radio. The audio quality on it is far superior to other stuff that I've tried, and I'm really impressed with it so far. Plus, it's got 220 on it. Hams need to get out there and use that band, especially with the way that cell companies are buying up bandwidth. We really need to use our frequencies a whole lot more to make sure we don't lose them. And 220 has got some interesting propagation on it, so it is nice to have that. I believe we have one 220 repeater here. It's pretty far off. But you can hit it with a decent HT. And it does do 5.5 watts on 220, so hey, might as well get the most of it. I'm really impressed with the radio. I really like the display.
Menu. Frequency.
I do like the fact that I can kind of hear what's going on with the menus. And all in all, nice little radio. So that is the Jianpai 8800 It is a feature-packed radio. It is a quad-band radio. There is 300 megahertz in there. Of course, we're not going to use that. But you do get 2-meter 440 and 220, and that's really nice to have in a small little compact package like that, especially if there's a lot of 220 activity around you. I will put a link down below for both the software, the Bluetooth software to download, and the software for, and the link to the radio itself. The software for Bluetooth and PC are on the same site. That's why I said that. So I'll put that link down below. You can pick it up there, and I will put a link to the radio down there as well. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'd say give it a try if you like it. If you got, if you're a person that likes to experiment and play around with new radios and new technology, definitely a neat little rig. It's probably going to be my my monitoring rig out here for the time being. I like to switch it out and try out different stuff. So anyway, folks, I thank you for watching. Don't forget all our links down below. We have our freeze-dried wholesalers link down there. Start out the month right, folks. Get in on my 15% discount just by using that link. There's no codes. There's no nothing. You just click the link and go, and you'll save 15%. We have our Amazon affiliate store. Check out all the stuff I have in there. I try to put what I review in there. This radio obviously isn't in there. It's over on Banggood. And our My Patriot Supply, preparewithiridium.com, preparewithiridium.com. Lots of bulk food options there this month. We're going to have some really good specials up there. And our Thrive Life store as well, folks. Thank you for watching. Stay safe and stay prepared.